Oh, greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Bot Signal. My name is RJ Redden, and entrepreneurs hire me to skyrocket their engagement because most can't get traction online to save their lives, and they're a carbon copy of everybody else. Most also feel like they're shouting into a black hole, casting their pearls before swine, trying to get their message out there. No one's listening, no one's reading, no one's responding. So, I create epic engagement experiences that get people to click that button, connect with you, and convert like crazy. Bottom line, I am on a mission to get everyone to join the marketing engagement revolution. So, darlings, welcome. It's Monday morning. Yeah, I was running a little behind today. Yeah, it happens. And I am so happy to be here this Monday morning. You know what? Saw some friends this weekend. Hope you did too. It was magnificent. You know what? It's a jungle here in the summertime. They came over a couple hours before they were going to come over. It rained, and we were like, "Oh, should we do this?" And it was fine. It did not rain while they were here, except at the end when then everybody left. But we sat out there for a good 2 hours. We just sweating, and humidity here is so bad that the sweat just stays on you. I didn't care about any of it. I just wanted to see my friends so badly. I would have sat in a sauna, and that's kind of what I felt like. Anyway, celebration. Super happy to see some friends, have some human contact. And lots going on this week. So let's get started on the topic, though. I think I got a little distracted. That happens. Let's talk about webinars. Let's talk about webinars for a second. Now, making your webinar more engaging. I had somebody on a couple weeks ago. His name's Kyle Gray, and he has some really good insight and works for some people you've heard of on helping them with their webinars, storytelling wise. He, in fact, on the show, look back at it if you haven't seen it. He was talking a lot about the stories that you need, the 3 stories that you need in order to really engage people on a webinar. Now, storytelling, huge. That's like the main attraction. That's how you magnetize people to your message. That's the hook. How do you get people there, though? How do you get people to that webinar? And when you're not storytelling, how do you keep people engaged in what you're doing? So today we're going to talk about that because I think that it's something really important. Listen, webinars are all over the place. And with all this COVID stuff, baby, they ain't going away. They ain't going anywhere. So let's talk about some things that you can do to help that webinar be engagement friendly and incredibly successful. Because we all know it's a like trust factor that gets people to say, you know what, I'm going to spend my money with this person over this person right here who's clearly just trying to make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so the first thing that in my experience has helped me a lot with webinars, and by the way, I am having one on the 13th of August. It is called Unleash Your Engagement. Clearly it's free. Clearly it's going to be a great time, and I'm going to be using a lot of these engagement methods inside that webinar. So come join us. So the first thing, it's the mistake that I just made. Don't call it a webinar. I mean, people know when they see masterclass that it's a webinar. They all know that. But from the beginning, I want to paint a picture for people that is just a little bit different. Just a little bit, let's workshop. Let's masterclass. Let's Let's do something that is more, name it anything but a webinar. And here's why. I mean, they know. They already know it's a webinar. But here's the thing. Webinar, the word comes with a lot of baggage. Okay? And it's baggage that you don't want to have to carry. It's emotional baggage of sitting in front of somebody who's droning on and either being a talking head constantly or giving you 3 billion slides to read. Whoa! Stop it. Death by PowerPoint is a struggle. And it's not a good one. Yeah, death by PowerPoint. How many times has this happened to me? So when you want to let them know immediately that they're going to have a little bit of a different experience with you. This, people are thinking about webinar and they're thinking about stuff that they put on in their other screen or and just listen to, or just thinking, okay, is this worth my while or not? And I've done that a billion times too. Absolutely. I always want to know what's happening in my industry, even if it's a webinar that's above my head. I'll still put it on the third screen and determine if this is something I should listen to or not. So first, name it differently. Just anything else. More working together to learn versus, hey, just listen to me blabber to you. That's a great comment. So, and what is meant there is when you're naming your stuff, pay attention to the name. Masterclass, workshop, there's a ton of them. Free training, that's a good one too. Let's work together to learn something. Let's do that. And of course, well, we'll get into this in a minute, but entertainment as part of learning is something that I'm always focusing on. So anyway, don't name it a webinar. And when you're naming it, I write names down for things like this. And then I consult my coach and she goes, no, this. And I'm like, okay. So that's the easy way out, I suppose, is to just run it by your speaking coach. But I have the best one in the world. So that's why I do that. Thank you, Jane, for hanging out with me last week. Anyway, naming is hugely important, my friends. You are telling them what to expect. With your name, which if you can make it short and concise, the better. Name, that's title of whatever you're doing, plus, and then sometimes a little tagline. You're going to say the title all the time. The tagline's probably going to be much more present in your marketing materials. So social media posts, emails, all those things. That's going to be more of what that tagline is going to show up in. But you want to tell people right away as you can, what this thing is going to entail and what they're going to get out of it. Always, right? Always upfront, transparent, what's happening. Tell them immediately so that they can evaluate. And if they're not interested, they're not interested. There's just kind of a huge, an unwritten law out there, I think, that if someone's not interested in your stuff, then you've got to go back and reevaluate. Well, if a whole bunch of people aren't interested in your stuff, yeah, go back and reevaluate. But honestly, there is something to drawing toward yourself the people who are creative or people who are interested. The people, for me, it's people who are interested in creative solutions, people who are interested in maybe some on the edge technology that's been proven to work. Okay. I'm not just bleeding everybody on the bleeding edge of technology. That's not good too. That's not good. But for me, I want to attract a certain crowd of people because for me, they are more likely to engage with my stuff. So of course, that's what I want. Of course, that's what I want. Because unleash your engagement. It's a masterclass about engagement. So I'm going to create something that's going to cause people to engage with me over and over and over again. My team and I met about this on Thursday? I don't know. Anyway, we met about it and we are producing it right now. We're producing the marketing materials and everything else to get that thing going. And I am really, really excited about it. Anyway, Liesel's here. I call my webinars party. Party time. Yes. Let's have a party. One of my clients, the wonderful Gina Gabellini, she has a dance break in the middle of hers. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Yes. I even tried a webinar where I got up out of this chair and I sat like a taller chair back there. And I did it just to get, out of the chair syndrome. It didn't work, by the way. Listen, nothing works unless you can see this. If you're struggling to see all this, then it's just too hard. Anyway, so with engaging webinars, gosh, your title is everything. Your title's the first thing that they hear. Your title is the kiss on the cheek that will lead to, something, or will leave people flat and going, okay, I don't want any more of this. And either response is okay. Lowest common denominator marketing sucks. Oh my God, it does. Riches in the niches, baby. That's the truth. That's the truth. And somebody says, are you drinking out of a cauldron? Yeah, it's a Hogwarts cauldron today. It has little feet. My wife got this for me on the marketing cruise. She actually stood at one of those claw machines, and like forever. But she procured this for me. She's beautiful. Anyway, making those webinars more engaging. So when you are inside the webinar, right? And of course, a chatbot is going to help you get people to that thing, because the sign up is different than just, okay, give me your name and email. Okay, now go check your email so you can opt in twice. Okay, so now do this and, go to a billion places on the internet. See ya. That's your normal webinar sign up. Use a bot for your webinar sign up so that people know exactly what's going to be going on at that webinar, so that people have an opportunity to ask questions before you even get there. And you can ask some questions that help you know what your audience is going to be like, what they want to know from the webinar. It may be different than what you planned. You know what? Who cares? Great. Change it. It's not set in stone. Listen, if you talk directly to people about what they need, you're going to have a better result. It doesn't matter what you have written down. So use a chatbot for sign up. That's another tip. That's huge. Okay. Tell the engaging stories. That's what we covered with Kyle Gray a couple of weeks ago. And that man's a professional. Okay. He knows what he's talking about. Those stories are golden. Those stories are golden because you know what it does? Just humanizes everything. It humanizes everything. You know what? When you engage with me business-wise, you're engaging with this person. I got a team that's working with me. They do all the work. Anyway, but you're not buying from a corporation here. You're not buying from Enron. Who even remembers that? I'm dating myself. Anyway, you're not buying from some nameless, faceless, 6 weeks to get you in the proper shape to, dominate the world. No. In that webinar, you're deciding if you can trust me. You're deciding if you can trust me. You've already, you know me because you signed up for the thing. You've already decided you like me because you've been through my chatbot and you like my strange sense of humor or something about the cape or whatever you're doing. Great. The webinar, this is the trust part. Okay. Do I trust this person enough? Do they know what they're talking about? So, stories help you humanize that process and start building that trust. Other things you can do during a webinar. These are some of the things that I'll be doing during my webinar, but you've got to sign up for it to see all the things that I'll be doing in my webinar. But, dog left. Didn't know that was him in the corner of the screen, did you? Anyway, what I'm doing, a lot of things that I'm doing during my webinar are the same types of things that I do here. When I have something to celebrate, we celebrate. When I have something to talk about that's a great big pink elephant in the room of marketing, we talk about that. And I'm using visuals to kind of pepper up this whole conversation, because there are only certain things that I can do. Listen, when I'm on stage, it's a whole different thing. I can jump on and off the stage. I can make my cape fly. I can run around to people and tease them individually. Cohen. It's our dear Barry Cohen, who passed a while ago now. It breaks my heart, but I made fun of him every time I got on the stage. He was such a good sport about it. So there's lots of things that I can do when I'm on stage, when I'm in a physical room with people, and it's easier to feel the vibe, right? So hence this next suggestion. Just do it on regular Zoom, people. Just pay the $15 a month and do it on regular Zoom. Why? You can see people's faces. Now, not all of them. Some of them are going to go off during a webinar. They're going to want you to not see that they're, in their second screen or whatever. But you will see some faces. You will see their nonverbal reaction to you. And that is very, very important to a speaker. Very important. Hey, the speech is important, but the audience, that's the people you're making a connection with. So you got to pay attention to what they're doing. If you put it all in webinar mode, you really can't see what people are doing. Now, if you have thousands of people coming to your webinars, there's no way you can do that. Scratch what I just said. But if you're starting out with webinars, just do it on regular Zoom, people. Don't spring for the extra $40 to make it a face only webinar. My cute dog is joining. Oh, always. The puppy. Very good. And now somebody, Lisa, I think, has found me on YouTube as well. Very good. Thank you very much. Anyway, more about the webinars, more about what we can do to engage on those things. Because really, like, what's a great webinar rate? Like conversion rate, like 6-7%. Sweeties, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. We can do better than the traditional stuff that's out there, that's either talking head or talking slides that have a billion words on them. I'm going to sidetrack and tell you a story. I know you're shocked. However, this was years ago. I was in graduate school and I had written this paper back when I wrote academic papers. I know. No, I totally used to do that. I didn't have a cape at the time. Anyway, wrote this paper that got some attention, and it was about how to train people on technical stuff and how to teach people stuff. And they sent me down to a conference in Florida. I have no idea what the name of it was. It was one of those academic ones that have 16 words for the name. And it was the whole idea of this conference was teaching our colleagues basically to train differently, to help, different systems that people were using to train students and to teach students differently. So I went to that conference expecting to have sparks fly in my mind. I went to that conference hoping to learn some of these cutting edge things that people were using to teach students and to teach others and to train people. It was kind of a big mixture of that. What did I do? I died. I died a PowerPoint death. There were people talking about using different educational methods that had 1,000 words on a slide. Like, one of the guys even said, "You might have to squint to see that." Sweetie, I ain't doing that. And neither should you. Holy moly. Holy moly. It was so cute. And it was so it was frustrating because some people had great messages, like, "Hey, we're using this new technique. It's super fabulous, and here's how it goes." And no, it was all covered, in a layer of the academic stuff, and PowerPoint and lots of word on slide. So, I mean, people had a great message. They had great things to say. But it was all buried under a layer of PowerPoint. Holy moly, everybody. So, this. When I do my webinar on August 13th, there's going to be some stuff, but there ain't going to be like thousands of slides with a ton of words on them. Listen, if I want you to read something, I will send you a PDF. I will. It's fine. Whatever. I'll just PDF the PowerPoint slides if they're that important. No, you know what? I'm going to do things a whole new way. I'm going to use my little Stream Deck here. Hello, Stream Deck people. They're not paying for this endorsement. Because I haven't warned them that I was going to talk about them today, obviously. But yeah, I'm going to use this thing. I'm going to play little sounds. Inconceivable. It's one of my favorites, everybody. I'm going to little beeps every once in a while. I'm going to do all of the things that make things interesting. And what's she going to do next? So really, if you get nothing out of this, I want you to get this. And that is, if you are doing an online presentation of some kind and you want it to be engaging, you have got to do things that are unexpected. Not constantly, but just every little bit counts. Asking for responses in the chat. I've seen a lot of webinar people do this, and it's excellent. And I'm not going to ask you where you're from, because where you're from has no bearing on any situation whatsoever. But I'm going to ask you questions and have you respond with emojis or whatever you want to. I'm going to do that pretty frequently throughout the whole section. And I'm going to respond to those answers. I'm going to make those questions count. I'm going to make those answers count. That's something that people don't usually do. You see, what we do is we assume distance. We assume that people aren't listening. So if you're going to do an engaging online presentation, assume that you can catch their attention and work on little ways you can do that. And if you're using a bunch of technical stuff like I do, rehearse. Just do it. And you can get away with not doing technical stuff at all. You can be entertaining and engaging just sitting here. But do rehearse, do put whatever in there that you can to engage people and make them say, wow, that was interesting. I wouldn't mind going on a little journey with her. That's what we're doing. Anyway, let's see here. You are my guru. No offense. You always say the right things. Oh, I'll never take offense at that. So that's what I've got for you today. I have talked so long, people. This is just craziness, but I wanted to get some of that out because we did a lot of webinar planning over the last part of last week and wanted to get that to you I'm really excited about this thing. It's called Unleash Your Engagement. And that one is going to be on the 13th. And I'm going to have a 1-day event. Yes, a 1-day event. And it's going to be like a thing over a Zoom. And it's going to be fantastic. And that's August 28th. It's going to be a lot of promotion of that during the next couple of weeks. So, you know what? Just sign up now. Just sign up now, because then you can just ignore me when I'm promoting it later on. Sign up now. Both free events, both the masterclass and the 1-day event, free events. Going to be great stuff. I want to have people engage in activity as I talk about them. Yeah. Well, Teresa, you know your activities better than I would. I guess my suggestion would be, make sure that there's no tools and supplies required, for one. If you're going to have people do engagement activities, like if you're going to have people do teaching activities for say, if you need to, give them 5 minutes to think of 3 ways to blah, blah, blah. Excellent. In that case, I would make sure to keep that short. Like I would make sure that no activity period, let's say, after you've said, okay, now I need you to do this exercise. Don't make your time to do the exercise over 5 minutes at all. You'll lose people. Probably 3 minutes is your sweet spot. And for me, I would totally put a timer up on the screen. Like I've got one. Let me see if I can. Nope, I can't get to it right now. But I do have, Ecamm. If you use Ecamm Live, that comes with a timer that you can put right on the screen. If not, you can always, get another timer and do all of that. If anybody is interested in all of these live casting things that I do, please do let me know. I'll do a little show on it and kind of give you some tips and tricks on how to get started with some of this stuff. I've been obsessed with this for about a year because I want to put on something that people want to watch. I want to. And in order to do that, I've gotten involved with a lot of the technical overlays and screenshots and all these different types of things. So let me know and I can put together some either some education or a show on it. A show would be like incredibly high level though. I'm getting a vote on yes. It would be following directions type stuff into movements. Okay. Well, excellent. In that case, and yours would be kind of a specialized webinar, I think. But anyway, let me get back on track because, I lost it there. I often lose track of what I'm doing. Anyway. Yes. How do you live stream? I would take that training too. Yeah, it's there's some equipment involved for sure. For sure, you can also do it. You can also do, just budget. I'm just getting on here to work out the kinks. That's one thing that I really push people to do. One thing, just because, darlings, you're gonna have the flub ups. I do all the time. I just know how to cover it by wearing a confident face while I'm flubbing up. It's fine. Anyway, yeah. So the live streaming stuff, I may put together a little class on that because it's a huge part of engagement and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about that. The chatbots are my favorite tool, and you all know that because I talk about them all the time. But live streaming is a great tool for engagement. Really, really helps people get to know you, your personality, and all of the stuff. It's a huge part of No Like Trust, so I might put together a little package on that. So, my friends, let us do the last part of the episode.
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Okay, let's sum up. So, first of all, do not call it a webinar. People know that masterclass is a webinar. Still, don't call it a webinar. Just don't do it. Masterclass, workshop, free training, whatever you do, whatever you got to do that, because the word webinar takes too much baggage. 2, storytelling, hugely important. If you did not see that show with Kyle Dre that I did a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to need you to go back and reference that bad boy. It's in the archives of wherever you're watching me from. Also, title's very important. Baby, get a good title. Get a good, short, a concise title, and get a tagline that expands on that a little bit more. Tell people what to expect. It's going to be good. It's going to be good for you. That title, that tagline will help you develop a little character, a little something for that webinar. It'll help you develop marketing materials. It'll help you develop an avatar. It'll help you develop a whole lot of cool things to draw people in. Fantastic. Now, also, during your webinar, please do not be either a talking head the whole time or talking slides. Please do not PowerPoint people to death. It's not fun. No, that's... People are like, why do I get such huge drop-off rates in my webinar? Sweetie, take some words off that slide and quit reading it to people. Okay? Gotta be interesting, gotta be engaging. Do some call and response, do some question asking. And of course, darlings, have a bot sign up for your webinar. Don't do the usual. Right off, establish from the front that this is not your regular gig, and people will make extra room in their minds for when your stuff is happening. So that's my little sum up. I am so happy everybody showed up today. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are cool and important, and I like you. With that, my friends, I will see you in a bot.